The Minnesota Vikings are the biggest mystery in the NFL right now. One week they look unstoppable, the next they look like a team searching for answers. Every game feels like a new story, filled with moments that either pull fans to the edge of their seats or leave them shaking their heads. Nobody expected this season to feel like a roller coaster, but here we are, watching a team that somehow keeps finding new ways to surprise everyone. What makes this even stranger is how much of their season has revolved around two quarterbacks with completely different stories. J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be the future, the young leader handpicked by Kevin O'Connell to carry this team into a new era. But right when he started showing flashes of confidence, an ankle injury changed everything. That's when Carson Wentz stepped in, turning what could have been a disaster into a strange kind of revival. Every throw, every drive, every decision now feels like part of a larger question. Who really owns this team's future? The Vikings' record looks solid on paper, but the truth goes deeper. They've battled through chaos, from offensive line injuries to defensive breakdowns, yet they keep hanging around. That resilience keeps fans hooked, but it also hides a growing tension inside the building. McCarthy's recovery has become the center of attention, and his return might reshape everything again. The story of how this team got here starts with one painful twist: the moment J.J. McCarthy's rise was suddenly put on hold. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Vikings and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 200 likes on this video. Everything changed the moment J.J. McCarthy went down with that high ankle sprain. It happened during what was supposed to be his breakout stretch, when the Vikings were finally finding rhythm under Kevin O'Connell's guidance. McCarthy had just started showing command, hitting quick reads, using his legs, and building trust with Justin Jefferson. But in an instant, that progress vanished. The injury didn't just sideline a player, it froze the future. Fans waited week after week asking the same question: when would the rookie finally return? What made it tougher was how carefully O'Connell handled him afterward. Even when McCarthy was cleared to move, he sat out practices in wet conditions to avoid another setback. The message was clear. This wasn't about rushing him back, it was about protecting what he represents long-term. Every time the cameras showed him in street clothes on the sideline, it reminded everyone that Minnesota's biggest investment was still waiting to show who he could be. That patience tested the locker room, especially as the offense kept changing its identity to survive without him. And just when it seemed like he was close to returning, another twist arrived. The veteran filling in began to shine, winning games and keeping the season alive. That unexpected success created a problem no one saw coming. A healthy McCarthy might not walk right back into his role. It turned his comeback from a simple recovery into a quiet storm brewing behind the scenes, setting up a decision that could define the Vikings' entire season. The Minnesota Vikings found a lifeline in Carson Wentz. He walked into a chaotic huddle and brought calm, leaning on quick rhythm throws, motion, and smart checks at the line. Instead of forcing hero plays, he trusted Kevin O'Connell's script, kept the ball on schedule, and let Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson do the heavy lifting. The result was simple and powerful. Drives steadied, confidence grew, and the season flipped from fear to fight. You could feel it in the box score and in the moments between the numbers. Against Cincinnati, he went 14 of 20 for 173 and 2 touchdowns. A clean clinic in taking what the defense gave. Pittsburgh tried to turn it into a track meet, so he answered with 30 of 46 for 350 and 2 touchdowns, battling through pressure while one tip ball turned into a pick. Then came Cleveland, where he posted 25 of 34 for 236 and 1 touchdown, and played through a sore shoulder, saving his best for the final minutes when everything was tight and loud. What nobody is talking about enough is how the locker room responded. Veterans rallied to his poise, young players fed off his toughness, and the sideline energy shifted from anxious to locked in. Jefferson kept winning contested catches. Jordan Addison resurfaced with timing and trust, and a patched line held long enough for the ball to fly. But here is the twist that sets the stage. The defining snapshot of this stretch was not a stat, it was a drive. London, 2 minutes. Season on a knife edge. That is the game that changed everything. and it is where we go next. The Minnesota Vikings walked into London with a roster stretched thin and still found a way. The left tackle was on a pitch count, the right side shuffled, and Carson Wentz strapped a brace on his left shoulder. Special teams swung wildly, the ground game coughed up the ball, and yet the final minutes felt like a heartbeat growing louder. The shocking part is how calm they stayed when everything begged for panic, and how one throw to Jordan Addison turned doubt into belief. Kevin O'Connell kept the offense breathing with speed and clarity. Quick outs to Justin Jefferson set the tempo, option looks forced soft spots, and a clever call let Cam Akers rise up and find Josh Oliver for a strike. Field position flipped at key moments, the defense tightened late, and the short passing game kept Myles Garrett from wrecking the pocket. It was not pretty, but it was precise enough to steal control when the window cracked open. That win did more than move the record. It sharpened a hard question waiting after the bye. Do you ride the veteran who just finished a cold-blooded drive, or hand the huddle back to J.J. McCarthy, the second-year quarterback who holds the long view of this franchise? O'Connell's next move will shape everything, and the choice is bigger than one game. Now we step into the decision at the center of this season. The Minnesota Vikings are staring at a choice only Kevin O'Connell can make. Go with the veteran who steadies the ship right now, or turn the keys to the second-year passer with the higher ceiling. This is not a simple depth chart call. It is a timeline decision that could set the tone for the entire locker room and shape what this team becomes when the season gets tight. Carson Wentz gives O'Connell control. He works the cadence, gets the ball out, and keeps the offense on schedule so Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson can win in space. J.J. McCarthy brings movement and shock plays, the kind that stress a defense when a play breaks down. He is a second-year quarterback who lost real practice and game reps last season, so the only way he grows is by playing. But here's the twist. Chase wins today with Wentz or invests snaps in McCarthy and risk the bumps that come with development. What nobody is talking about enough is how the bodies around the quarterback will drive the call. If the line is shuffling and the backfield is in flux, the safer rhythm may be the veteran. If the group gets healthier and faster, the offense can lean into McCarthy's legs and deep shots. That means the next step is clear. To understand the choice under center, you must study the core pieces and the injuries that keep moving the target. The Minnesota Vikings have star power all over the field, yet the engine keeps changing parts in real time. Justin Jefferson bends coverages, TJ Hawkinson cleans up tough downs, and Jordan Addison adds speed that scares corners. The shock comes from how often this group has to reshape on the fly, which turns every snap into a test of timing and trust. Jefferson is the tone setter who turns routine throws into momentum plays, while Hawkinson gives the quarterback a clean answer when the pocket tightens. Addison has climbed into a true running mate role beside Jefferson, forcing defenses to pick a poison. In the backfield, Aaron Jones brings patience and hands, Jordan Mason brings burst, and ball security has become a loud point of emphasis. When these pieces move together, the field widens, the tempo rises, and simple completions become chains of first downs. Protection is the swing factor that decides how far this offense can go. Christian Darrisaw has been managed to keep him right for the long haul, Brian O'Neill has battled to get back, and the interior has rotated with Ryan Kelly out and Blake Brandel stepping in at center while rookie Joe Huber learns fast. Kevin O'Connell has answered with quick game, motion, and extra bodies in protection to keep the rhythm clean. If that stability holds, the quarterback choice gains real support. But none of it matters without stops. And that is where Brian Flores changes the math next. The Minnesota Vikings defense under Brian Flores thrives on confusion and pressure, forcing quarterbacks into mistakes that often turn into points. With Jonathan Greenard powering the line, Dallas Turner chasing from the edge, and veterans like Byron Murphy and Harrison Smith locking down the back end, the unit thrives on speed and disguise. Isaiah Rodgers' defensive scores prove how dangerous this scheme can be when it clicks. Yet, the only weakness lies in stopping the run, where missed gaps have open lanes, opponents exploit. If the front tightens those holes and the linebackers return healthy, Flores' defense could evolve from disruptive to dominant. So, what do you think, Vikings fans? Should O'Connell stay with the veteran who's winning now, or hand the offense to the young quarterback who might define the next decade? Let me know your thoughts below. And if you believe this team can turn potential into a playoff run, drop a skull in the comments.